Hey beauties, good evening to you, or good afternoon rather. You know, I saw something a while ago that just broke my heart and brought me back to reality. You know, sometimes when you scroll the internet, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, social media in general, and sometimes you hear people cursing people out and they're shaming them, body shaming them, in terms of how they look and so on. And by and large, these are normal people that we would consider normal looking people. Even if you consider them pretty or ugly, it's still normal looking people. You wouldn't say their features are disfigured per se. And I saw a young lady. You can see that she's a beautiful young lady. I'm not sure if it's a birth defect, but her face is disfigured. Apparently, it seemed as if it's either she has an illness or some sort of infection where, like, part of her forehead seems burnt or it's a birthmark, but her nose is unusually swollen. Think about, like, when some people get a wasp or bee sting on the lip and it's swollen and it looks really bad, and like your nose is swollen, like her nose is unusually enlarged and hair growing where the holes are, and they had to cut off a piece of her face. I don't know if it was burnt off. I don't know if it had to be cut off because of either some accident or an illness. I can't tell, to be honest. And she has to wear that tracheostomy tube. So, when your vocal cords gets damaged, whether it's through an illness or an accident you've met in, so that you're able to speak, there is a button. And that button, the good thing about it when I was reading upon it is that you're able to turn off the button, which will allow you to breathe normally on your own. But you need it to speak. Unfortunately, sometimes the words are muffled. She was singing and you can hear that she has a beautiful voice, but it is disfigured. The sound is distorted, and muffled. So when she speaks, I can't tell if whoever is asking for money to help with her surgery, if she's Jamaican or from another Caribbean island. Or, sometimes Jamaicans, they will live somewhere else and the accent will kind of change a little bit. I'm not able to distinctly tell, but it has I know the mother or guardian or whoever is taking care of her seem to be from one of our Caribbean islands, as I said. Not sure yet, it sounds slightly Jamaican, but maybe, and I saw somebody in comments saying that she's from Canada because people are trying to find out information, what is the cause, and naturally people would want to know what is happening. And boy, beautiful people, no matter what your situation is, I guarantee you, for those they have their normal body, their normal, features, whether you're ugly or pretty, as how people, and I'm talking about how people look at people or view people. Give God thanks. I guarantee you, neither the ugly one or the pretty one would change places with that human being, with her. You would not. You could hear the brokenness in her voice. You can hear it. It was heart-wrenching, to be very honest with you. When I heard her, sorry about that. When I heard her, you can hear the brokenness because I don't know if it's an accident and through that accident it's an infection or something had happened, or it's an illness she developed, which has really disfigured her face. And I'm saying, oh my God. And look at how people are creating a vitriol on how people look. People who we call normal. Whether you want to say they're beautiful or they're ugly, give God thanks and stop creating such a vitriol and a rancor around people. It is not good because neither of the two, whether you fall under ugly or pretty, would want to go into that beautiful young woman's stead, in her place. Neither. If it was not something that is against the law, if it was not something that I know people would not use for negative reasons, I'd post it so that you can see it and look at it. Obviously not for you would be laughing at yourself. If you think you're laughing at her, it's yourself you would be laughing at ultimately. But for people to remind people that if it were not for the goodness of God, you would not be in the condition that you're in. I guarantee you she would trade places with even who you consider ugly. That young lady would trade places with who you consider ugly. When I call people ugly, I'm talking about their ways. And it oozes out to the outward. Your ways can literally transform you into a monster, looking really bad. Because, you know, the world has designed what they call beautiful and what they call ugly. If you don't have the European features or the Ethiopian features, you know, outside of that, it seems as if you're ugly. When I hear people say, "Go your nose, big eyes, this, and to people," and they go on, and I said, my God, look at this beautiful lady. She would rather to take the big nose, a big whatever, in with a normal look, than to look the way she does, totally, basically disfigured. Her eyes, though, you can see the beauty in her eyes, thank God. You know, and you can hear that she could sing well. It's just that because of the whole tracheus, to me, I think that's the name of a tube. Her voice is disfigured. Not disfigured, it's distorted and muffled. Her face is disfigured because they had to cut off one side of her face, apparently, and her lip, it comes down, covers the teeth, in a sense, the top part of her teeth. And, you know, her nose, as I said, is enlarged with some hair. So I don't know if it's blocking the holes where she cannot breathe properly. And there's a burn mark somewhere on the forehead. Oh my God. People, stop. Stop body shaming people. And when I say I'm talking from the head to the toe, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't know what life can bring. I remember there's a young lady that I remember when I was at UA. I think I was doing my first degree. Yes. Beautiful young girl met in an accident. Bad accident. And people, she came back to what we would call, if you look at her, you would never know that she met in an accident. The only thing that you will ask her, what cut her on her cheek? I think right here, somewhere here, whatever you call here, jawbone. You would see, you know, when you have that swollen look, when you know, like a knife would cut you and it doesn't heal properly, it has that sort of a keloid look. And that's the only thing I remember. But everything is back to normal. She's back to, but you know what has happened? It has transformed her face. So she had a more round, cute face, and it's like the accident made her face elongated. So it took away that cute, beautiful look, if you understand what I mean. I'm not calling her ugly, but it just changed her features. Literally took away that beautiful look that I remember her with. And I said, oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, her face is intact. As I said, you would think that is how she is if you didn't know her from before. You would think she's a normal looking girl. Normal looking. It changed her features. Because I guess they had to reconstruct her face. It was a terrible accident. Oh my God. And her face was elongated, you know. And I said, oh God, Lord, we have to give you thanks. I remember another time I went into a place, girl from behind looked really normal. When she turned around, I said, oh Lord. You remember E.T., for those who remember that, but it's almost like one eye is down and one is up. Her face and her toes were like, you know, the rooster feet. A chicken toes or hawk or eagle. I don't even know what to call it. And I said, wow. I had to kind of take off because I'm kind of, you know, I wear my feelings on my sleeves, as they would say. And I said, oh, you know, obviously not in mockery, but just saying, wow. We have to give God thanks. No matter how your things are challenging, the normal looking human being would never switch places with any of those people that I mentioned. Especially the last one and the first one. The one in between, maybe, because she's normal looking still. But it's just that because of how I knew her, you know, I can see the difference in her face. Stop body shaming people. Stop it. If you have a big belly, do a little exercise and see if you can get it done. I'm not saying it must look terrible and awful. Exercise is good, you know. But if you're normal looking, give God thanks. Sometimes we need to go on these pages and posts so that it brings us back to a humble state. It brings us back to a humble state and learning to appreciate people, because that person that you're calling ugly and describing them in the worst way, trust me, you would consider them beautiful. Don't do it, people. It's not good. I know it's hard sometimes when we're so angry, we feel like saying but no, people, it's not good. Because that girl battling to look like a normal person again, and many others. Please value people. Guys, follow me on TikTok. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. And please share this message. Thank you.